stop just accepting whatever the fuck is in front of you just because it is what it's been. Like, I'm tired of that. I'm so tired of people like, oh, well, that's the way it is. Like, you're part of the problem.
Curran, you founded Common Running, the hydration product. You've founded your own races like Last One Standing. I'm so impressed with how much you've actually accomplished within the past year.
I live in the space where nothing is done. The doer mentality, like, I don't see any other way. I kind of have like a circle of fuel where accomplishment and success is fuel. I do crazily think sometimes this is life or death. I don't show the fuck up for myself on Thursdays. I show up for you. Black people, white people, Asian people, gay people, straight people, religious, non-religious, tattooed, no tattoos, corporate people, not corporate. Like, I'm building something about fucking people. I don't give a shit about running. Running is a way that we take the streets. It's an expression. Why are people just hating so hard? Because it's working. People are waiting for one of us to fuck up. And he turns around and punches me right in the face. We actually just like influx these small businesses with cash. We're actually saving countless people, you know, in the city, outside the city, whatever the fuck it is, like giving them a space to go. We're doing for free what the tax dollars of our city should be doing. I challenge anybody to show me that impact across the board consistently. They buy the t-shirts. They rep the brand. They believe in it. They're willing to wear it out to a bar because they feel like they're a part of something, because they are.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
I got the fizz, dude. We don't need to cheers, right? Do you want to?
Hey, let's do it.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers.
What do you think? First impressions.
Love it.
500 milligrams sodium, 110 potassium, 20 magnesium. So I definitely kicked Pete's ass designing this. You know Pete well. Obviously, yeah. Pete works out of this office, and I think he was over me by the end of this project. But I'm really happy with how it came out. I think it looks like for custom printed cans and pretty damn good.
Yeah, I love it. So it nourishes you more than something like a LaCroix that doesn't really, it's 100%. Just sparkling in flavor. It has the sodium and magnesium in it.
Yeah, so it is a performance focused drink, right? Mm-hmm. But I also don't want it to be too focused in the performance, where so many people drink electrolytes like every single day right now. They're like, oh, like I'm going to wake up and have my element. And I'm like, well, do you really need 1,000 milligrams of sodium right now? Like, you didn't even work out today. You're just an everyday mom. Like, no issue with that. But the fact is, a lot of people don't truly understand what they're putting in their bodies. So with this can specifically, or this drink, like 500 milligrams of sodium is kind of like a 2 to 4 mile run. That's how I kind of look at it. Like, hey, if you're going to go weight lift or weight train or do like a walk on a treadmill and 20 minutes of strength training, like this is plenty for you. If you're going to drink this just for everyday hydration, totally fine. Like anything from like over 500, like people look at liquid IV. I think they're 670, something like that, 600, 700. So LMNT's 1,000, 600, 700 for liquid IV. And then this is at 500. But a lot of other brands inside of Target, like Crunchy, has like 60 milligrams. And you're like, why am I paying $5 for this at Target? Right. So anyway, yeah, hopefully it didn't, you know, we worked really hard on making sure that it was crushable. Cause like right now, 20 minutes from now, when you take a sip of this, it's going to be almost flat water again. So you can have like a little bit of flavored water. Like I told you, I hate drinking water. So this it's a necessity for me.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink coffee. I'm kind of like a rare breed.
Wow.
So I love stuff like this where, I mean, I drink water anyway.
Yeah.
I know some people, it's like you just, you know, water's boring or you just don't want to drink it. But I love things like this where it provides that flavor and makes it interesting without being something like a Coca-Cola.
Yep.
Like I love the Olippops and the Poppies just because the main thing with me is I can't wrap my head around having 60 grams of sugar in a small can like that.
Yeah.
And the corn syrup and, you know, I probably get all that sugar in foods that I eat anyway, but 100%. It's just kind of, having that in liquid form is kind of tough for me to like wrap my head around.
Dude, for sure. And a lot of people, I mean, just basic fitness stuff. Like, so if you go back in like my trajectory of life, right? I lost 85 pounds in 8 months years ago. Yeah. So you can like YouTube and look at photos and stuff like that. But the massive change, I mean, alcohol, but truly understanding what you're putting in your body. Like when I first tried losing weight, I was like, I'm gonna eat a Hungry Man and that's healthy for me and that's great. And I'm like, no. So a lot of people just don't have the education that they need. They look at things and they're like, oh, like this is healthy for me. This is a healthy portion. But until you've actually taken time to use something like MyFitnessPal or Yuka or whatever and like weighed out portions and seen what actually you're putting in your body, you have no chance, right? So I think that's an interesting moment where not a lot of people care, not enough people truly have the education or the resources to educate themselves or put in enough time. But you start to really break it down where one of my favorite tests is I take a can of peanut butter, a jar of peanut butter, I hand you a tablespoon and I say, show me an accurate serving for 180 calories. Show me what that is. Bro, nobody can do that.
Yeah.
Nobody can do that.
And those are really calorie dense, right? So,
well, for sure. And so you look at what a little 2 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, it's like, ain't nobody making a sandwich with 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. It's like 6 servings of peanut butter for a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at like a 1,200 calorie sandwich, which if you're trying to lose weight on an 1,800 calorie diet, it's your entire meal.
Right.
For the whole day. But don't forget you have breakfast, but then you put creamer in your coffee. So there's a lot of like scientific shit. And like, I know we're not going to like, this is not a weight loss or anything like that, but I see a trend right now happening where people genuinely give a shit what's going in their body. They care what's going in their body, but they think they know, but they truly haven't done enough research yet. Right. So my goal is to, with this, obviously Common started as a run club, turning into this brand. Now it's a hydration brand. And I'm excited because when you look at it, the differentiator is simple. There's no artificial sweeteners, period. It's fucking water and essential minerals. Done.
I love that.
So then you start looking at other brands like, oh, like Liquid V has like stevia, glycerin. Like what? No, bro, you can literally see the minerals. It says carbonated water and it names the minerals. That's it. Done.
Yeah, it's rare that you can actually pronounce all of the ingredients on something, and it makes you feel more confident in what you're, like you said, what you're putting in your body, knowing about it. So the first question I had for you is so our mutual friend and colleague Jeremy Hess, who runs the studio space we're recording out of right now, in a video, I believe it was one that Topher made for you.
The one year anniversary.
He was at the beginning of it, Jeremy, and he called you a quote unquote man of action.
Oh. And
I think that's a great place to start because I think it totally encapsulates at least what I've observed from you like over the past year, because you founded Common Running, the Run Club, and the hydration product. You have your creative agency Greyscale. You've founded your own races like Last One Standing, which I'd love to talk about. You have a partnership with Lululemon, correct? So that's my first question is how do you actually take action? Because I think it's often the hardest part where you have all of these great ideas on the shelf, but you can, procrastinate and say, oh, I'll start that next month. And then it just goes on into perpetuity. So what philosophies have you adopted to actually get things done? Because I'm so impressed with how much you've actually accomplished within the past year. And I think it's something that has really inspired me to actually, put things into motion instead of just having good ideas and not doing anything with them. Because there's one quote I really love. It's I think it's Larry Ellison. It's like a foolish doer will outperform a smart thinker every time. Okay. And I think that's like true to a certain extent. But it's it's meant to say like if you do things and you mess up and you learn, it's like you're gonna make more progress than someone who just doesn't do that. So I'm curious, like your thoughts on how you've been able to accomplish all this.
Well, first of all, it's interesting that you say accomplish all this, right? Like I live in the space where nothing is done. Like that's how I feel. Like a lot of people are like, oh wow, look at this massive event or thing you did. And by the time I'm in the afterglow of it, I've already been focused on something else for 3 months or 4 months, right? So I kind of constantly think of like life in sandboxes where if you're experiencing this sandbox, like we're sitting in this sandbox right now and like the hydration is out and, and Run Club, like I've already planned 6 months to 8 months to a year ahead. So I don't give a shit about anything that's happening around me right now because it's so past, if that makes sense. That doesn't mean I don't care about it or it's like I haven't, put a lot of time, energy, and effort into it. But like this Red Rose run that just happened last week, I don't know when this is going to air. So on June 6th, when the Red Rose run happened, basically 3 months before that, we were planning, or I was planning. So when I say we, it's usually just myself and me yelling at my wife or friends or whatever it is. And my wife is like, just listen, like we need to take a break on this. But I think there's an obsession factor to it. And like looking back in terms of how I was raised, like I was raised that productivity is value. And that's not what people are raising their kids on today, which is kind of an interesting sort of like fight in my household a little bit where, on Saturdays, like I remember like, raking leaves or painting properties or doing things that then we all consider to be valuable rather than a lot of other people now like value rest or recovery or days off or mental health days or all those sort of moments. So I don't know where that sort of happened, but I kind of have like a circle of fuel where accomplishment and success is fuel. So what happens is I do something. I feel like for a client, for example, with Greyscale, I deliver a product. They're like, hey, this is great. Thank you. I'm like, better get back to it again. Do it again. Do it again. So it kind of just continuously just feeds itself. So a lot of people cannot understand like how I operate on such a high energy level at all times. It's because the thing that I'm doing is actually just providing fuel. Like the thing I'm literally consuming and doing, even though I'm putting out effort to do that, is actually just coming back in, if that makes sense, and just continuing to push the machine forward. So the doer mentality, like I don't see any other way. I don't know how to like tell people if you don't have that to do that. Like I just look at it and say, today I have to accomplish all of these different things or I don't have value. And that's a fucked up way to think about it. Yeah. Like a lot of people don't view that. Like, and I think that's very anti like what the world is right now. Like the world is like, I have value because I exist. And I'm like, I agree with that.
Like participation trophies or?
Well, just in general, meaning like a lot of people right now don't want to like, I get hit with all the dad memes where it's like, you could be replaced by Monday if they fired you today and you've given 20 years of your life and this overtime and all this crazy amount of effort to this business. And I'm like, yeah. But if I'm not doing that for another business, I'd be doing it for myself. Like that's just ingrained in me. Because I think that's a work ethic thing. I think that's then like a fueled by success. And when I take all those leadership tests, and like all the little, what number are you and what makes you tick, like it's always strategy number one. And then it's leader and like success or whatever that sort of like accomplisher or whatever the hell it is. Like that's always number two. So I'm obsessed with strategy, why things happen the way they are. I love looking at 30,000 foot views and like moving puzzle pieces and kind of like focusing on that. But at the same time, I learned that about 15 years ago, if you didn't have the skill set to do the things, no one's ever going to get close to doing your strategy. So 15 years ago, I was an artist manager working in the music industry. I would still have to hire videographers, hire photographers, hire other people to do the things. So then I started doing them. So then I was like, oh, okay, like in order for me to get my creative strategy out in the world, I have to hire another person. I'm standing behind them like, you're missing, it's not exact. It's like Van Gogh. If Van Gogh's painting a painting and telling you how to paint it, it's obviously going to suck because you paint it instead of Van Gogh painting it. Do it yourself. And I just absorbed that. And I actually had a meeting this morning. I was talking to somebody. I was telling them, I'm like, hey, like, when people are working jobs for any other business, if you're not showing up every day and putting arrows in your quiver, you're fucking up and doing the wrong thing. Someone else is paying you to do a job, but get better. It's up to you if you get better. You could just consider that your job and it's like, I'm just going to give as little effort as possible to that. And I'm like, no. Like when I was working for a company, I was the video guy. Then I became the photo guy. Then I became the social media manager. Then I became the paid ads guy. Then I became the guy who was managing the external teams. Then I became, do you know what I mean? Like, are you putting more in and learning that or not? Or are you just stuck? So I don't know if I have like a tip or a trick or like hey, like do this and tomorrow morning you'll be mad busy. And I don't think it's really that. I just think that I attach success and value personally with how many things I can check mark off my list and providing value to other people. Like that. And that's two different ways. Like that's Greyscale providing like a service, which is video or photo work or consulting or media or strategy. Or that is showing up on a Thursday night that I make no money and I lose money on the damn thing and people feel fulfilled. That still provides me value because they look to me and say, dude, thank you for doing this. And I'm like, for sure. But I look back at them and I'm like, you're like, you feel something. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's the point. Like, that's literally what I'm pouring into you for.
Yeah. That makes it all worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the one message, it's like, hey, like, thank you for doing this. Like, that's the moment where I'm like, hey, I don't know many people who have stepped out and done something bigger than themselves for no reason. And so I challenge people to do that a lot where I'm like, hey, like, whether it's for your job, whether it's for your work, whatever it is, like, just do something that almost like is outside of you and it's hard to give back to someone else. So, there's no tip or trick. I don't have like a journaling method. I don't have like a prayer book or a thing that I do in the morning that's like, hey, this is what I do and it sets me up for the day. Like my eyes open, it's go time.
Yeah. The thing I took away from that is to just not get complacent or just, comfortable in, I mean, I find that it's a balance where you can be proud of how far you've come and what you've accomplished, but also I can relate to thinking, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of being like, well, this is great, but it's not nearly where my potential is. And, the ceiling is still so high. And I suppose that's where all the motivation comes from because all of that, it's just like a cycle. It just keeps fueling you. And you're, with this podcast, for example, it's like, yeah, if there's not many people listening, that's fine, but it serves other purposes where like I get to meet and speak with people and have great conversations and create great content out of it. But also it's like, if I have a vision where I want to have like a larger audience and bigger guests and things like that, like I keep putting effort into those goals every single day, even if I might not see the rewards from it right away. Cause I know it's like, if I send DMs and get over the fear of rejection of like reaching out to people I want to talk to, that's all steps towards that greater goal. And I find fulfillment in that, even if it's like you haven't achieved what you want to yet. So it's kind of like,
it's compounding interest.
Exactly. It's like you have to see it as, you have to look at the big picture. And I think that's the problem that some people have, if it's entrepreneurship and why people might want to give up early on is because they just look at, the span of a couple of months and they say, oh, well, I didn't reach these numbers. I didn't do this. Like, or obviously you want to be profitable at a certain point or you want to, that's required in order to sustain you. But, it's all about, looking at the big picture. And I think that's tough to do at times. Like, I don't know if you can relate to that at all.
100%. Just because what you're eating today, right? Marketing, business, whatever, entrepreneurship, like whatever you're eating today has nothing to do with what's setting you up for just 7 months from now. And so that's where I think a lot of people struggle, where they like go and pitch a client today, like, I got it, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, no, like you better keep moving because 7 or 8 months from now, like you need to be constantly just pushing that out there, right? So I found it funny because when you were just talking, you mentioned, I said compounding interest, but that's what kind of clicked in my brain. You hit me up probably almost a year ago at this point to do this. And I was like, hey, like just not right now. Right. And how many hour-long conversations have we had since then? None. Right. And so it's really cool to just look at it and say like, hey, like I got an hour today. This week specifically, I'm not traveling for Greyscale at all. I took the week kind of like off travel to do editing at home, launch this brand, stock stores. There's other stuff going on, but it was a moment where I was like, Like, bro, I'm doing this. Had 2 meetings this morning, going to get tattooed for a couple hours afterward, have run. Like, that's a great day for me. Like, I'm blessed. I don't use the word blessed a lot, but it's like, I'm blessed where I didn't work today and make money, but I made money yesterday because I delivered something from 3 weeks ago. That's that predictive, like, sort of moment where I keep talking about, I'm like, hey, like, because of how hard I worked a couple of weeks ago, I could take this off today and still bleed that money out. But that doesn't mean I'm not hunting something 7 months from now, or 8 months from now, or 9 months from now, because all the planning is out in front. So I totally agree in the fact that not a lot of people look at the big picture with anything. And the podcast is a perfect example, like 50 views, 100 views, 200 views, 1,000 views, 5,000 views, whatever it is. Like, it's really irrelevant at the end of the day, in my opinion. Like, if you had no other job and this was your job, you might be in trouble, right? But at the same time, you're like, hey, like, this is an extension of something I'm building at the same time. And that's the only way I think people can build stuff. That's like, people are always working on a side hustle. It's a side thing, right? So I would highly recommend to people in general, and people also like think I'm a freak because I only sleep, my Garmin said, I think last year I slept 5 hours a night, 5 hours, 18 minutes average, right? So it's hard for me just because everything you're not supposed to do, I do. But I don't do that because I want to. I do that because I have to do that. Like, I would love to sleep 8 hours. I would love that. But there's tons of people who make billions of dollars and they sleep 8 hours. Like, I'm just trying to do the thing the one way I know how, which is as gritty and super aggressive and hard and alone and just.
Yeah. And I get that spark and that fire to work after hours and make sacrifices like that, because it's, I find a lot of fulfillment, like in my business, for example, like building up a client list of people that, I love working with. And that gives me, that motivation to keep going and put in extra hours and stuff, because it's like building something that, is under, my brand technically. Yeah. So, and I think that's, I don't know if you'd agree or disagree, because you said in the context, if you're working a job for somebody else, you can still find ways to keep growing and not just,
for sure,
going through the motions, repeating the same things every day. But I think it's different when you're building something for yourself, in a way where it's like all of it is, all your efforts and the community that you build is like the product of like something that's like yours or like your team, or people you're surrounding yourself with. Do you agree that, there's something different there with entrepreneurship and founding your own business endeavors, or like?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I also just think that I have always had an ownership mentality, even when I work for other people. And that's then technically the best employees.
So how can people implement that because entrepreneurship, it might not be for everybody, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
For sure.
So like, how can people implement that ownership mentality, if they're working for somebody else?
Perfect example, like, don't be a dickhead when you have expenses on a credit card. Like, a lot of people I see all the time are like, oh, I'm going on a business trip. I'm going to book this really expensive flight. This really expensive hotel. I'm going to buy the expensive drinks. I'm going to buy the dinners. And like, I think oftentimes, like, what would I do if I was that boss, right? Like, everybody gets kind of wrapped up in that. And they're like, well, this can be added to this expense report or whatever it is. But like, now I stay in the Holiday Inn for $125. I don't care. I don't need to stay in the downtown $275, $350. And if you think like, traveling 4 or 5 times, 6 times a month, that extra $100, that's almost $1,000 a month that I save as a business owner, rather than getting the 2 alcoholic drinks or the 3 alcoholic drinks or the extra, so it's like, those are the pennies that end up like pushing forward. Right. So I think like ownership mentality, I think and I'm not sitting here saying like work the 50-hour work weeks if you're paid for 40 all the time. I just think that you have to like when you're walking down the hall, and this is something I remember saying, like, when you're walking down the hall and you see the gum on the floor, are you picking it up or are you walking by it? You go, oh, there's a guy for that. fuck you. That literally is like the bane of my existence. Like, it's the shopping cart mentality. Take your fucking shopping cart back, dickhead. Like, yeah, I know there's guys paid, but you're a dick. Like, so that's very important to me, where I just think not enough people take pride in anything they do in their lives anymore.
It's not just work related.
No, it's anything, you know, and that's like a problem. Right. And so I think a lot of people then look just in, you know, and kind of mix mashing all of this together. Like, people say, well, that's just how it is. I'm like, no, you can make impact. Like, you can rub one person with another person and two people and impact people, and then take two more and three. And like, you can literally build shit brick by brick. Right. So this could reach 50 people, 1,000 people. This could reach one person. It doesn't matter, because that one person, right? And have you seen those memes on Instagram where it's like, my 100 followers in a room, and it shows their 10 followers and it shows the 100 followers, like what 100 people in this room look like if they're following you?
It's a lot of people. If you think,
it's a lot of people. So but then you start to look like, holy shit, like my post on Common yesterday saw 32,000 views. Think about 32,000 views in this room right now, or people. It doesn't fucking happen. That's literally more eyes than would sell out a fucking half the Wells Fargo Center.
Stadium,
right? Yeah. So you start to like compound and think about that, where it's like 50 here, 70 there, 100 there. It doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the month, I highly doubt it's the same 50 people hitting every single time. It's different people, different exposures. So I think that that's something that we all, as just people in general, and I'm going to talk specifically on Lancaster, like, stop just accepting whatever the fuck is in front of you just because it is what it's been. Like, I'm tired of that. I'm so tired of people like, oh, well, that's the way it is. I'm like, you're part of the problem, you know? And so I think ownership mentality specifically, like, whether, you know, young adults are coming into their first job, like, yeah, you might not want to be a person that bagel bites for your entire life. But at the same time, my question to you is, whatever you want to do, how quickly are you going to go from the bagel baker guy to running the cash register to then the manager of the store? Because that actually shows how good you are.
Yeah, I think everything we're talking about is applicable on the smallest scale possible. I mean, just, it's all about having virtue and consideration just for other human beings.
There's honestly a code. Yeah. There's like this thing.
Yeah. It's like you said, the shopping cart mentality, or just, you know, if someone's behind you, just waiting 2 extra seconds to hold the door for them or something. And then how maybe that might inspire them to do that for somebody else.
For sure.
And you're never, that's not a thing that you're a metric that you can necessarily track or know that'll happen. But, you know, whether it's small things like that or in your work, or I think people remember those things, and that's, in any context, it gets people to come back to you, or and then you can grow from there.
And I mean, talking about work and like saving people, right? Like, we're in a service-based industry. We have a service and a thing that we do for people, right? Many times, like, I just got a call from a client. It was like, hey, listen, like, I know I threw these dates, you know, in November of last year. I mentioned these June dates. I haven't followed up with you. It's literally a week away. Like, can you do this? I had other stuff booked, but I'm like, these are people. They make mistakes. They're humans. Shit happens. It adapts. Do you have the budget for it? Not really. Okay, but we have a relationship, and I don't want you to drown, because if you drown, then you're probably not coming back to me. There's a lot of stuff in there where I genuinely try to, I mean, not to do any Gary Vee or the 60-40 shit. Like, I love the 60-40 mentality. I'm always going to give you more than I'm getting for you. And that's not to have like a vice grip over you or like make you feel less than, but I feel like that's the thing that drives me forward, the value. I'm giving you value. And that's why I then get the call. It's like, hey, next week, can you be in St. Simons, Florida for 2 days? And I'm like, oh, well, technically I'm in Georgia for 3 days. That overlaps your days. But what I'll do is I'll figure out how to move that. No problem. You're my friend. I have the flexibility, and I'm not breaking their arm to do it. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, well, now that it's late, last minute, I'm going to hurt you and make it painful and make it suck. And no, it's not that serious. And like, that's not saying I don't like money and I don't need money, and I know I need all those things. But at the same time, if the rate was the rate, for the last thing? Why is the rate for this rate? Like, I hate getting that stuff. I hate getting the charges where it's like, I have a travel day fee and I have this other half day fee. And like, it's a rush fee now. It's a Saturday. Bruh, do you want the work or not? Right. Make it easy. If you're not going to make it easy, I'm going to go somewhere else, you know? So I always want to make sure that the day that I'm capturing, or the day that I stand up on Thursday nights, or the day that I message somebody, it's their best fucking day. That's it. Like, that is my job. There's tons of people that shoot video and photos and whatever else. But if I'm not then turning that shit around and making it their favorite day of the month, like, that sucks.
That's often what I tell people is there's an abundance of people that can point a camera and press record, and it's the other things around that where it's the experience and the value that you're bringing to the table. And I've said it 1,000 times on this podcast, but it's like not being just a button presser. It's being more than that, and having the human element to it. And that's what brings people back, you know, in the business context. And it actually segues perfectly into the next thing I wanted to ask you about, which was with Common.
Yeah.
And from a branding perspective, like, what brings people back, or how do you create an environment where something that people want to be a part of? Because you've clearly found, I know you have like big goals of attendance numbers and stuff, but you've found a lot of success doing that. So if you could boil it down to like one or two things that are responsible for creating that environment, or whether it's, you know, from a branding perspective on social media, something where it's like, you know, because it works on me. I'll see the Thursday post, and if I can't make it to the run and I see it, you know, you get that FOMO of like, oh man, I wish I was there. So can you put your finger on like what has been behind that for creating that feeling for other people?
I would say, I mean, like, I haven't had it mapped perfectly. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I'm still trying to figure that sort of stuff out. Like, that it's a living, breathing amoeba, and it's interesting just because now that we're over a year in, like, there are new faces every single week. Like, there's still people finding out about it. Like, at Red Rose, there were countless people coming out to us and be like, what is this, right? So as soon as you start to think like, I got it on lock, everybody knows who we are, like, there's absolutely no way. There's always room for green and to the right, like, for growth, right? I think what keeps people coming back is, and I mean, I definitely take it way more to heart than other people in terms of like the way I speak about the internet, like the way I talk on the like online, and like the Easter eggs that I leave with lyrics and all these different like sort of like things. Like, if you're in and you know, and I think a lot of people are just like, yeah, I'm showing up, I'm seeing some friends, it's a good time, it's a good vibe, like, cool. There's those people, but there's like a core group of humans inside of it that understand, like, I do crazily think sometimes this is life or death. Like we have had people that show up to Run Club, disappear for 3 weeks, and have taken their lives. Like, that has happened to us, right? And it's interesting just because I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not taking blame. Like, that's life. That happens. But at the same time, the thing that keeps people coming back is the consistency of it. And it's not just a matter of the consistency of like, oh, it's every Thursday, right? The consistency is people that they meet then come back every Thursday too. And I'm trying to unlock that with people right now, because let's say it's your first time. You come out, you meet me. Maybe not me as me, but like Fred. You meet Fred. And Fred's cool. And you run with Fred, and Fred's awesome. You have a great conversation. You're like, wow, what a great time. I can't wait for next week. You come back. You look for Fred. Fred is not fucking there. What happens? Do you know what I mean? That lets you down. You then feel a negative experience. You're kind of like, well, now I have to go meet someone new. And that's hard. Meeting new people is hard, unless you're like a complete outlier person, you know, over the top, just meeting people all over the place. So the 1 second of courage you had to come in the first place, you overcame that, came, met somebody, bonded with someone, they're gone. That consistency then is the thing that then ruins your possible chance of coming back, which is crazy to me, because it's nothing I did. It's nothing like the core, like the group did. It's just that one person. So I preach constantly, because I don't show the fuck up for myself on Thursdays. I show up for you. And people are like, I'm like, what do you mean? I have bad days. There's tons of days I don't want to go. I'm tired. I travel Monday through Wednesday. I want to see my kids, hang out with my wife on Thursday. And at 4 p.m., I sit there and go, I got to go to a parking lot, set up a tent, fill up a bunch of water coolers, do the damn thing for people. Right? And that's hard. That's hard to do often, right? But at the same time, I get there, turn it on, because what if that one person that met me last week wanted to hang out again or needed to say something, or the person I messaged 6 months ago finally was like, I'm going to come out today. If I wasn't there, what happens? And other people are like, oh, well, someone else could run it. I think there's an X factor in that. I genuinely believe in that X factor, the same way that you probably wouldn't send me to shoot your video business because I'm a totally different person. So if I sent you to do what I do, could you stand up in front of people and lead 300, 400, 500 people to do it? Maybe.
Not like you.
Maybe not. It's different. It's different people. It's like, I'm trying to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm trying to, it's just different humans, right? And it's something that I'm trying to instill in people. Like when I post these strength in numbers like moments, like I've sat with other founders, other people, and I've had these conversations where I'm like, hey, like, cool. Like you are all about getting faster at running, or like you care about running, or like, I don't give a shit about that. Like I genuinely want people to just come have a place that they can blow off steam. That's it. It's blowing off steam for me. Running is a part of it. Cool. Walking, you're pregnant, you have your new baby you want to bring. It doesn't matter to me. It's literally just something that every single Thursday, someone can look forward to seeing someone that they met last week, the week before, meeting new people, whatever it may be. So I think that consistency aspect is important. But then I also think having something that people can then grab and identify with is crucial. Where, where else in Lancaster, and I challenge you on this right now, where else in Lancaster do you see Black people, white people, Asian people, gay people, straight people, religious, non-religious, tattooed, no tattoos, corporate people, not corporate? Like, where do you see that happening every single week?
Can't think of anywhere else but Common, honestly.
Right? And it's like there's 20 people here and they look like that, or there's 20 people here and they do this thing, they look like that. Like I see subgroups now forming that are like, I literally, a friend of mine, he started, I guess, a run club, and it's specifically for like Hispanic and Latinos. And I'm like, that's not inclusive. Like I'm fucking focused on everybody. I don't give a shit about 38-year-old white males that have wives at home. Like, that's not what I'm building. I'm trying to build something way bigger than that. And so I posted a photo today right before we got here, and it's on our front, Andrew, and he's in a wheelchair. He had an accident. He ran Red Rose literally last year as a part of Common. First 50 people on the team, ran last year, had an accident, waiting for an Uber, a drunk driver hit him, paralyzed. Right? So this young fucking kid is in a wheelchair. Now, I don't know anywhere else in Lancaster that is running based that has an event where he can come every single week. So is it about running or is it about people? I'm fine with run clubs having things about running. That's fine. I'm building something about fucking people. I don't give a shit about running. Running's just fun. Running is a way that we take the streets. It's an expression. It's a moment, right?
It's a vehicle to bring the community together.
Yeah, right? And we do tons of stuff that doesn't even involve running now. Yeah, there's last man standing races, but like we had concerts at the beer garden. We threw a concert last year on Halloween and had a dress up party. Like, but yes, there was running involved, but you don't have to run. Countless people don't run every single week. Countless people just come out and walk or just meet up with people. They're injured. It's not about the running. So I think that's the deeper part right now, where the more layers that people peel back on this onion, they realize that Common actually stands for something. It stands for like, the fuck you, don't tell me what to do. It stands for like, hey, I'm going to show up as I am. And if you can't accept me, you're probably not here. Right? Yeah. So I think that's exciting. That's exciting for me, because the more we dive into that now, the more that we're able to build that. And I think that comes from me, right? Because that's the way I project it into the world. And I'm sure when people show up and they're like, dude, this is like death metal playing. It's by design. Like, I want to polarize people as fast as possible. I do the same thing with clients. I've walked into $200 million construction companies wearing sweatpants and a hat like this. And they're like, you're the fucking guy? And I'm like, I'm the fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a moment where I'm like, take your mask off. I'm going to do this. You have beers on the weekend and wear sweatshirts too, right? Can we just be people now and just talk about the thing? You know, so it's fun just because I grew up in the space going to court, wearing the shirt, you know, I was like, bro, I don't want to wear that on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I want to wear a t-shirt. I want to wear a sweatshirt. Why do I have to do what you tell me to? Who built that system?
Other people
Which is fine. Yeah. There's tons of people who like doing that, like wearing suits, but like, I'm just not going to do that. I zig, you zag. It's all good. Like, so I think that's a big part of the reason why that people come back is just because they can zag anytime they want. They don't have to do what they're told. They can show up upset, depressed, angry, hype, but they know it's there. There's no heat advisory warning. There's no rain delays. It's there. And it's the consistency of it.
Yeah, I love that you have that strong why and the stakes are high. Like you said, could literally be a matter of life and death. And I think the discipline of showing up for yourself, you know, whether it's you putting on the common event or if it's people just, you know, going to the gym or showing up for their family and just doing that over and over again consistently. There's so much value that's derived out of having that discipline. So I love that. And yeah, the impression that I got from going to Common is exactly what you just expressed, which is that it stands out as being so different than all of the other ways that we have to, you know, meet people. And I'm not saying that these don't serve a purpose, but if it's like, I've been to business networking groups, I've been to church youth groups and things like that. And I think all of those, you know, it might be a controversial thing to say, but in some capacity, they discriminate.
Yeah.
Like whether it's, you know, there may be the facade of like everyone is welcome, but do you really mean that? Like you have to
except
meet,
you,
yeah,
and you and
you
and
have
you
to meet some sort of philosophical or belief criteria in order to truly be there.
For
it's
sure.
like you have to conform to our views in order to be welcome, but you're welcome to be here. But as the longer you're here, the more we'll try to, you know, impose certain views on you. So, but I didn't get that with Common. And I love that it's really, you know, it's people that, want to be social. They want to show up for themselves.
Yeah.
They want to, you know, get outside, move their body, and which are all fundamentally good, essential things for the, you know, a part of the human experience that, you know, our society with remote work and, you know, it encourages isolation. You know, I do a lot of remote work and it's tough to have that, you know, that platform to go to every week. And I think Common has been just so, it's been welcoming, but it's also, you know, that inclusion aspect of it, I think, you know, really resonated with me. And I felt the humanity and there's a lot of beauty in that.
Yeah.
And you pose the question, where else can you find that around here? And that doesn't have those barriers, you know, some are more, like obvious barriers than others. But I just love, it's like you said, there's just a diversity of people, a diversity of, I think the reason why it seems like everyone hates each other nowadays is because of that, the lack of diversity of thought and belief. So it's, you know, having that melting pot of people where it's like, you can literally come and just like shake your hand and run next to somebody. And it's like, who cares what their religion is? Who cares who they voted for in the last election? It's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, so like, is that, like, does that stand out to you? Like,
for sure. And I also think it's interesting just because you were saying like other networking groups and like, you know, my buddy KJ has Next Gen. Like I love Next Gen. I think it's like a totally cool thing that he's doing for like the next generation. Now they're working with like Catholic a lot and they do these round tables and get leaders in front of kids and shit. But it's like, he and I'm pretty sure we have lunch tomorrow, but he and we are doing very similar work, but are going about it very differently. Like, he's not going to stand up and say the F word in front of people, and that's fine. I'm going to do that because I'm confident in saying that, and basically confident and fine with the people who are so triggered by me saying it walking away. Like, I'm fine with that. It doesn't matter to me. And then the interesting part is then what happens is you then normalize that in a minute, and then everyone's like, that's cool to do. Oh man, I've been holding my breath the entire time. But it's also the matter of when you show up, everyone is equalized because they're all wearing gym shorts and t-shirts, right? Nobody's in different tiers of clothing, or nobody's wearing, you know what I mean? So it's interesting because you can truly come as you are, where it's like, hey, like, if you're going to go shirtless, cool. If you're going to wear gym shorts, cool. If you're going to wear running shorts, cool. If you're going to wear, nobody gives a shit. It's not like there's tiers of legitimacy in terms of suit and tie or not.
Or
everyone
just status.
Just, you're just coming. No one gives a shit if you make $200,000 or $50,000. It doesn't, nobody asks that. There's no like predetermined quota of then people get positioned by certain groups. Like, here's a fucking square box, come and stand into it, and then probably rub elbows with people that you wouldn't have any other day of the week. Literally the point. You know, and then there's no getting anything out of it. It's not like you mandatorily must go inside and support the local business. There's no like handing cash upon arrival. There's no like, that's the crazy part about it, right? So I think that's really interesting where, you know, it is just for people, by people, and it's being built by people. Like, that's why people share, because they want it to grow. They want to be a part of it. They want it to be the biggest thing. They want to take over the streets every single week. And a lot of people kind of get triggered by that in general, where they're like, oh, it's dangerous, you're running the streets. I'm like, yes, like, I understand it's very dangerous. Like, running in the streets, people, you can't predict people, right? But I also look at it like a train, right? If there's a train, people don't try to drive through the train. They shut the fuck up and wait. 5 minutes, whatever it is, 7 minutes. I've seen people when we're running do the spastic pull out of the right, try to do 60 miles an hour down Lemon Street in the left lane, swerve over in front of cars. That's when accidents happen. The people who are just pulling out and going, it'll be gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And what happens is the messages I get, I then respond like, hey, like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, they're like, man, like, it's so dangerous what you're doing. I'm like, actually, we're running in a massive pack. Everybody's looking out for each other. We're way more visible than just one or two people running at night by themselves, because there are 400, 500 people. It's impossible to run 2 by 2 down the sidewalk, right? So it's interesting where I then respond, say sorry, like, you know, it's safe. You know, we're looking out for each other. We always stop at the red lights. But then what happens is people wave us on. Then we get in a weird situation where it's like, no, you go. And then we're just like, who cares? We're going. The train continues, right? And then I always then respond in that nice message. And then the person always comes back. I mean, 99% of the time goes, yeah, well, I was late too.
It's about them.
It's about fucking them.
Yeah.
It's not about, they lead saying, you are doing something dangerous. And I'm like, yeah. Do you really care about us? No, I care about me getting where I needed to go. So that's that shopping cart mentality again. I'm like, I am late often. I was late today. I'm always running behind. It's a part of life. It just is what it is. But at the same time, am I going to risk it all passing the fucking Amish buggy? Am I going to risk it all passing the skateboard kid or the runner? Like, dude, no. Take a minute and realize, like, look around like, holy shit, this is really epic. What is this? How do I get involved? It's not about you being late to go to dinner with your girlfriend. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like,
this is a perfect segue into like an important question I had for you, which is dealing with those people that aren't on board with what you're doing, whether it's like the music's too loud, or just like you said, the runners in the street are inconvenient to me in my commute and things like that. I think people will often go about addressing hate in a counterproductive way. Okay. And the way that I like to think about it is, you know, it's the whole mentality of darkness can't drive out darkness, like the MLK quote. Which, you know, if you're going to respond to hate with hate, it's still hate, and you're just stooping down to their level, and it's not accomplishing anything. So I really like the, I think you said this had to be a couple months ago that you were like, everyone was waiting at a red light and someone rolled their window down and like screamed like, expletive stuff, like, get common sucks or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think an intriguing response to that, just from my perspective, would be instead of like flipping them off or be like, fuck you back, just say, come join us.
Yeah.
Like that's literally, it diffuses everything.
Yeah.
It makes you the bigger person. You respond with compassion and inclusion. And that's going to stick with the person and have a better chance of changing their mind than just shouting right back.
Sure.
I just love for you to expand on the whole concept, because I think this is just a greater sort of topic, not just with addressing hate within common, but just how we can go about disagreements with people and things. Because I think that's a conclusion that I've made myself, when I try to handle disagreements or whatever, is to come at it from the lens of compassion, inclusion, and not just throw bigotry right back at someone who's trying to like be bigoted towards me.
For sure.
So could you expand on that a little bit?
Dude, I think, if this was 10 years ago, we'd be having a totally different conversation. So I do think age has a lot to do with that, right?
Like how you've like grown or matured.
Yeah. 38, if I was 28, 22, 23, alcohol, and dude, who knows, right? There's a lot of like stuff to unravel there. But for me personally, and I think with the cultivation of the group of people and the people that are coming to Common now, when I do this little speech thing before we run and I talk about like the importance that there's only one rule and it's no hate, right? And I violently joke about beating someone's ass if there is, like, obviously that hasn't happened. I obviously don't want to fight somebody. That's not my goal or intention to do that. But at the same time, it's to like level everybody for a second, say like, hey, listen, like very simple, no hate. If you hear about hate, bring them to me and I'll knock them out, right? Like, it's that serious to me because the strength in numbers mentality with the mob mentality, everybody could turn on one person very quickly and just carry them down the road and place them in a car somewhere else, right? Like, we don't want that. We don't want that person. So when someone is then giving that back on us, like respectfully in a moment, when that person drove by, I was like, fuck Common at the corner. And I'm just like high-fiving people that are running by and I'm like, us? What are we doing? Like, you are that triggered and upset in this moment right now that like, I have no idea who you are. You cowardly roll down your window. You just roll, then speed off and drive away. And like, no one says anything back. No one chases you down. No one threatens you or anything like that. And I kind of like wrapped my head around that, later in that night. It was just like, it's a part of the lore now with Common, right? It's like, these things are happening to us and nobody knows why. Why are people just hating so hard? Because it's working. Yeah. Because it's bigger than your thing. Because it's actually working. And so I look at it like, did you make it out to any of the fridges at all? The May?
Yes.
So did you hear the sound machine? The alarm? Someone bought a $20 Amazon alarm that sounded like a fucking fire alarm or a car alarm. They strapped it to the tree and would be remote operating the thing. It was like, woo, 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 like whatever it was. It was brutal.
Just to sabotage.
Just to fuck with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we found it, threw it down the alley, talked to the fridge, and we're like, yo, is this yours? Like, do you know who this is? They're like, no. So then got rid of it. The next week it was attached across the street, right? And so then from the way I handle that, is I then just hilariously just posted it on our post that night, and you can swipe over and go back in May and see me holding a little Amazon sound machine. So it's like, I don't know who did it. I don't care who did it. It's irrelevant to me. If I'm going to focus on these tiny little moments of negativity in my life, bro, like there's a lot of people that don't like it right now because it's loud. It's in your face. It's aggressive. It's not the way you would do it. That's fine. And obviously there's a shit ton of people that are fine with it too. So like, just shut the fuck up. I'm not out there talking shit on you. I'm not out there threatening anybody else or doing anything bad to hurt you. Just be quiet. Just be quiet, And so I think for people in general, I think a lot of people at Common understand that with its size, with what it stands for, with like that zero tolerance mentality towards any of that, people are waiting for one of us to fuck up. People are waiting for that, right? Last September or August, I can't remember, like there was a really drunk guy. He lived on the street next to Cartel Brewing. He was walking up and down the sidewalk.
I was there for that.
Yeah, he was threatening a bunch of people, doing a bunch of slurs, name callings, threatening women, whatever it is. I went down, I was yelling at my megaphone, you know, like approaching him from 50 yards away. I'm like, hey, turn around, hey, like threatening him, like not threatening. I was yelling at him, and he was just pushing people off the sidewalk because they were running. And when I got like 2 feet from behind, I was yelling in my megaphone. That's pretty aggressive, 2 feet away from someone's head. And he said his ears, and he turns around and punches me right in the face. And there was a moment where 5 or 10 people were standing there, Micah and a bunch of other people were like, what's going to happen right now, right? 10 years ago, I probably there would have been violence. I would have been like, you just hit, like, it's on, right? And so in that moment, I kind of took a step back and I like looked around. I was like, I need you to go home right now because this is going to end poorly for you in this moment. I'm going to make sure you walk home because you cannot threaten these people that are not hurting you. They're not doing anything wrong. And I stood up for those people, right? Listen, a 30-year-old father, he could have had a gun. He could have a knife. I don't know. I don't know this man. He's drunk. Like, stupid in retrospect, but at the same time, I'm making sure that I, as a leader of this group of people, stood up for the people that were getting beat up verbally, pushed out of the way, whatever that is. Because that's where you know, put your money where your mouth is, dude. Mm-hmm. Do you give a shit about these people or not? Other people just stayed up, drank their beer, Cartel, and wouldn't give a shit. I literally ran back down the street at this person, like to confront them and basically, right? And so it's interesting just because violence could have met violence. We didn't.
Right.
Now, in crazy hindsight, looking back, our run ended, everything happened. We were packing up for the night. We heard police cars down by Country Day, and I went back down, and he actually hit someone else, not involved in our run club, knocked their teeth out. You know, so hit a husband and a wife that were walking their dog. He punched him and knocked their teeth out. I went back. It was actually like I testified in that sort of situation. He was on house arrest for months. Like, it's a fucking thing, right? And so me specifically with that, I'm constantly letting people know, like, hey, listen, people are waiting for us to fuck up. People are always looking at us right now and saying, look at these punk rock degenerates that are being pieces of shit, yada, yada. I'm like, oh, that's so funny because like we actually just like influx these small businesses with cash. We're actually saving countless people, you know, in the city, outside the city, whatever the fuck it is, like giving them a space to go. We're doing for free what the tax dollars of our city should be doing.
Right.
Crazy to think about that, right? Like, don't even get me started on that. Like, in terms of like, I'm sure the grants that are out there, nobody's contacted me being like, hey, listen, how could we multiply this? Nobody in Lancaster has ever reached out and been like, you're doing a really fucking great thing. How we can help? Nobody wants you to fucking win.
That says a lot.
That's fucking crazy, right? I'm sitting here like, but I haven't been proactive asking the city, being like, hey, can you give me grants? Can you give me money? Like, I don't want to do that. Because the way I build things is simple. Hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me? Hey. I don't need it anymore.
Yeah. It shows what the leaders, of our township or city actually care about, I suppose.
Unless they haven't heard of it. And like, I'm like,
yeah,
someone's heard. I mean, we've had cops calling us. We've had like, it's,
yeah.
I mean, it's reaching 1 million people on Instagram every month, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, I literally had another local business. I'm not going to name names or anything like that. But I got a text message from a bunch of friends who were like, hey, did you start this? I'm like, what? And it was another business in Lancaster that straight up stole Common's logo. Took the double M. And was like, I never heard of you. I'm like, same font, same thing. It was like, bruh. You know what I mean? So I asked if they had a designer and it was internal. We worked through it and everything's fine. But it's like, this is a problem, and this is my punk rock sort of ethos, right? Where it's like, I could probably get more flies with honey. But the thing for me is, I don't feel like we should have to. I don't think I need to go and set up these meetings and grovel and beg. Mm-hmm. I don't need to. We're building the thing. alone and it's working. So now at this point, instead of me proactively asking for any help from the city, I want the city to come and say, hey, we love what you're doing. How can we help?
Then it's genuine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't want to go and be like, please help me, please help. Like, I don't need the help. Like, it's working alone.
Right.
How can I make it bigger? How can I make it better? Like, and this is, I mean, not shit talking events people or anybody at the city, but it's like a year ago in the summertime, I wanted to do I talk about this all the time. I wanted to do a tattoos, tacos, and 5K at Longs Park. And everybody's like, what? And I'm like, I love tattoos. Tattoos are cool. Tacos are, who doesn't love a taco truck? And a 5K in Longs Park should be easy. I'll hit a tattoo guy. They'll come out and set it up. It'll be fun. And so I hit up the city and I'm like, hey, what do I got to do? And they're like, the health board's going to get involved. You know, we need closed doors. We need like complete closed buildings for the tattoos. They like started talking about the medical. I'm like, okay, y'all are making this too intense. Like I've been tattooed in the back of tour buses on Warped Tour. It's not that serious. Like I appreciate it. Like you're giving me things I understand, like I have to overcome. Right. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Then it's like, well, the permits for the food trucks. And then they were like, well, we also need then to have flagger force hired, because we're going to park everybody over at Wegmans and they're going to turn off the light and we're going to need police and flagger force, which is going to be like $7,000 to man that light. I'm like, all you did was put like stop gaps from me getting to my goal. Mm-hmm. I could literally tomorrow say, everybody meet up 8 a.m. We're doing a fucking 5K in Longs Park and have a great time. Nothing involved.
So they're not making it impossible. They're making it more difficult to disincentivize you from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Yeah.
And like I said, I understand that because there are rules, there are laws, there are regulations. Like I respect that. Mm-hmm. But the thing for me is, are you genuinely trying to help the youth of the city do fun stuff or not? Your choice. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, hey, you can't shut down the streets. I'm like, fine, I'll do an illegal street race down Queen Street. Bye. You know?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be edgy. It's supposed to be punk rock. And I have a lot of other people in the running community that are like, hey, like, not cool. You're not doing it the right way. And I'm like, well, what's the right way? The right way doesn't have to be the hard way doesn't have to be the right. It's like there's ways to do things differently. And I'm not doing it to hurt anybody. I'm not like, oh, I want to put people at risk and put people in harm and let them get weird skin diseases from tattoos that are not clean. Like, no, it's just, I want to make something fun. Don't make it painful. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. I mean, just before I forget, I want to go back to the thing you said with like the interaction you had with the guy that ended up, punching you.
Yeah.
That, you're such a strong leader for responding that way, and not, using violence back and stuff. I mean, just the amount of strength that takes. And
could you imagine the headline, dude?
Yeah. And standing
like,
up.
Run Club leader beats down 45-year-old drunk dad.
Right.
Like it would be over. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know if I had that 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I might've been kind of like, smack, what the, you know what I mean? It could have been bad, right? Yeah. So I'm sitting here now, I'm like, well, I don't really drink anymore too. So it's like, there's no alcohol involved. There's a lot of things that kind of like lined up. Maybe that's the universe making it happen, right? Being like, this is not done yet, So I want people to know that that's the way right now, where it's like when that guy rolled up and said, fuck Common, like when he said that, it's like, I wasn't like, chase him down, boys. Like, let's go string him up. Let's go beat his ass. Like, no, like, I was just kind of like, damn, like us, really? And they're like, damn, that's crazy. Right. Like, and I think it kind of bonds people together because people go, if they only knew what was happening here, you know what I mean? Like, and I have the screenshots and the texts and the messages to prove it. You know what I mean? Like I posted today earlier on Instagram. I'm going to read this one. I'm going to take 10 seconds to read this one. I posted earlier today on Instagram, and I thought this was one of those moments. Like, it says, 3 months ago, I joined Common as a way to meet people after moving to Lancaster. What I gained was a community, genuine friendships, accountability, and a group of people who constantly encourage each other to grow and become better. Before March, I honestly wasn't much of a runner. I never really enjoyed it, and I barely could make it through 2 miles. Now I'm running 5 miles at an 8:30 pace, and that's largely because the people around me who continue to push, support, and believe in me. What started as a way to make friends turned into something much more. Running became less about the miles and more about the conversations, shared challenges, early mornings, and showing up for each other week after week. I'm incredibly grateful for this community I stumbled into, making Lancaster feel immediately like home, and for everything that it's brought into my life so far. That's not mine. I didn't write that. That's something I'm tagged in, right? And I just then screenshot and I shared it myself. But like, that's the whole fucking point.
Yeah.
That's like, I challenge anybody to show me that impact across the board consistently.
And I'm sure that
and that's not a challenging, but I want to make sure like I have friends who like Derek at the Foundry, he's changing lives. You know what I mean? Like his gym, the aggressive music, the way he's building his business, like that's impacting people. Megan at Tread House, she's changing lives with her crew and her time. Like it's not a matter of like, oh, I have more people, so I'm more flexi. No, absolutely fucking not. Like I'm just saying that if you're not doing what they and I and we are doing, and it's somehow coming off a different way, you should readjust that shit. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Yeah. And I think the countless messages that you get like that make the criticism seem smaller and smaller,
you
know, the more of those that you get. And I think you sort of alluded to it earlier, but that's a sign that it's working. Mm-hmm. Like you said, those were the words you used, but it's a sign that you are standing for something and you're having influence. And as you grow and the more influence you have, you're always going to have people that have a problem with that.
Yeah.
It's like there's a quote along the lines of like, no one who's ever done anything worthwhile has gone uncriticized. Like you're always going to have some sort of critics, but you have to think about, who is criticizing you? Is it people who who you would take advice from?
That's the point.
Who you respect. And because I think the whole mentality of like, don't care about what people think, I think it's true to an extent where there are people in your life where, they're who you respect, like where their opinion matters and you should like take time to consider it. But it's the people that don't know what Common stands for, or they've never been to an event, or they've never been impacted. They've never seen the impact. Why should those people dictate the decisions or the limitations of things that you're trying to do?
For sure.
Because I think people who aren't aware of it are going to be quick to judge. It's like, oh, it's loud punk rock music. I don't like that music. So it's literally people can make a judgment just like that.
For sure.
So
yeah, and it's fun too, just because like I see all the things, and that's something I think that people don't understand a lot of the time, where it's like being the person who runs Common Socials and I message all the people, and like I still to this day, like every single person that follows, I message them. And if that's almost 7,000 people at this point, like
I got a message from you.
Yeah. So it's like crazy to think that like, I just still do that. I wake up, after Thursday nights, I wake up on Friday morning and I message all the fucking people while I'm walking on the treadmill and just kind of like send them the information. Mm-hmm. Some people write back, some people don't, some people like it, whatever it is, but it's like, at least it's an access point. And like, yeah, I could pay a machine to do that. Like there is apps to do that now. But I love doing that because sometimes I meet the people the night before and I'm like, yo, like that thing we talked about, that was really fucking cool. Thanks for saying hi, whatever it is. Like, I'm sorry you're going through that, blah, 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 blah. Come back. Like, just met this girl, Sophia. Like, she came out all last week out of nowhere, popped up out of nowhere. I'm like, are you a runner? She's like, no. And I'm like, well, you have like all the gear. She's like, I'm a tennis player. And so it's cool because I'm like, oh, Sophia tennis, Soph bar. Like I memorize her Instagram. I memorize the handles. I message her. I tag her. So it's like the more people put into me in that moment, the more they tag me or get in my face with messages, like that's how I'm memorizing people's names and who they are and what they do. And then I can come back to that conversation from last week and check on them and move forward. And it's like, I don't know many people that pride themselves in that. Like that's a lot of work and energy and effort just to wake up and send 150 messages on a Friday morning and walk on the treadmill.
That sounds overwhelming.
It's like, mm-hmm. But what if that one person is like, holy shit, that's so cool. Like I'm coming back. Now we have 2. Mm-hmm. Now we have 3. You know what I mean? Like that's literally the strength in numbers mentality, and not to like soapbox and do any of that shit, but it's like, I have these hardcore bands whether it's like Stick to Your Guns, for example, or Terror, or these hardcore bands that like I've watched them make conscious business decisions for years to not get larger because they don't give a shit, because what they're saying is so aggressive towards so many people, and the way that it's performed or the way that it's expressed, people are kind of like, well, that's pretty intense. Like, but I'm like, yeah, but do you hear what he's like singing about? Like, he's proud to be nobody. And people are like, what does that mean? I'm like, I wear a shirt that says proud to be nobody because how many people have told you like, you'll be fucking nobody. And now I can go, I'm proud to be fucking nobody. It's that meant, and people are like, holy shit, like all the lyrics you post on all these songs, all these posts, like it means something. I'm like, bro, there's Easter eggs for days and shit. Nothing is by accident. Nothing is not by design in this. And that's what I love, because the deeper down, do you know 21 Pilots?
Yeah.
So you look at 21 Pilots, right? 21 Pilots, have you ever like dug into the lore of the 21 Pilots? So like, you know, randomly one record, he has his neck is all black and his hands are all black. It's a part of a storyline that he has built in the music videos. That's a totally different universe with these people. Like Clancy is his name. There's Banditos, which is the resistance that he's built. There's these bishops that are the government that they're fighting against. It's fucking crazy, but it's a top 40 fucking song.
Right.
Oh, my friend, he this. It's actually written for a movie, but has a music video that goes back. Like, how much thought is that? So what I want to do is I want to create that. So listen, if you're having a bad day and you just want to come and yell, you can have that entry point. But at the same time, if you're down to drink the Kool-Aid, as people like joke about us being a cult, like if you're down to drink the Kool-Aid, you can go into every one of those posts, analyze the lyrics, and talk to me and say, who's that talking about? And I'll be like, this is the exact fucking person, that motherfucker who wronged us. And that's not saying I want violence toward them, but that's saying we don't stand for that. That right there is not allowed here. This is a strength in numbers moment. I'm protecting people behind me. Fuck that guy who hit us. Stand behind me. I got you. Like, there's a lot of that. So that's where it's funny, because people look at it and like other run clubs, like, oh, where's the run club? It's like DJs. And I'm like, no. Like, it's supposed to be different. People are like, hey, can we do the DJ run? I'm like, no, I don't listen to DJ music. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's not for that. It's literally for this. But then that's why people, I think, are going to start here real soon. Like, they buy the t-shirts, they rep the brand, they believe in it, they're willing to wear it out to a bar because they feel like they're a part of something, because they are.
So I know you embrace the cult term.
Love it.
You have the shirt that says running cult member.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Because obviously it has a negative connotation in
this town.
Yeah. Well, I think, there are, cults in general. There are a lot of examples of, how it ends up in disaster because of, groupthink and all the psychology and things like that. But I think that's just kind of it's a tactic or a disparaging way to diffuse something like we talked about before, that's growing momentum, it's having positive change, and it's just uncomfortable for people. The thing about Common is, for me at least, it's stepping outside of your comfort zone.
For sure.
Like, when I first went to it, I was like nervous to go. And then I was like, oh, this is amazing. Let me go again. So I think oftentimes and this goes back to the hate sentiment as well, whether it's people observing, people who are coming to Common for the first time, there's this fear, you're nervous. And when you're uncomfortable, if you don't want to face that fear or whatever, your instinct is to just name call or do all the things we talked about. So I think the cult label, it's an example of that. So,
but is it? That's what I'm challenging you back, saying like, I don't care. Because the people who are going to actually then claim it to be that and say it's negative and it's like doing something wrong, they probably don't belong with us anyway.
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying that's what people, they use it in a negative connotation. And I love that you've embraced that, or even with the alarm thing, you posted a photo of it, you laugh it off, you just use it as fuel and you keep going because you know where your values are and you're not going to let that shake those. So, I was just curious because I think that's just the whole concept of taking criticisms or negativity or name calling and flipping it and using it for good and moving on. that is a skill that I think is just valuable for people in general, is like developing a thicker skin a little bit, and just like knowing what to stand for and not taking things so seriously, you know? Like, did you agree? Or?
Well, yeah. Well, especially like, I mean, I had you know, coffee a week ago. And you know, this person was just kind of like, hey, like, you got to be expecting punches to be thrown at you, right? When you're making as much noise as you do, like, you're not like surprised when people come at you. And I'm like, no, not at all. Right. Like, I'm very wholeheartedly expecting that. I am loud. I am aggressive. I am that. And I even go out of my way to basically let people know, like, I'm not hard to fucking find by that's a choice, right? Like, so don't go behind my back and have a conversation with someone else about me and try to get a hold of me. Like, send a fucking message. My number's on the website. My email's on the website. Like, anybody you tag comment, it's coming to your boy. I'm not hard to find, you know? So it's kind of interesting where it's like, yes, I expect that. When it does happen, I kind of look at it and I go, valid or not valid or whatever it is. I kind of read it and I'm just like, does it matter? Probably not. It doesn't, you know, there's
people are willing to be keyboard warriors, but when it comes to actually, like, would they say that to your face is a different thing.
Well, it always sounds differently when it comes, you know, when I have that conversation in my face, they're like, hey, like, you know, we don't agree with what you're doing, the way you're doing it, you know, you're disrespectful. And I'm like, what, because I have middle fingers? You know, it's like, if you're triggered by that, I'm sorry. But at the exact same time, I look at concerts and lead singers, and I'm not saying I'm a fucking lead singer of a band, but it's like, there are countless different genres of music and countless different belief systems and countless different things people can attach to, but it's like, this is designed this way, right? It could be like, I could probably get more people if I expanded the music. If I expanded and had like more top 40 music, you know what I mean? Like, I probably could get more people.
Yeah.
I don't care. And that's not saying I don't care about people that do come in or try new things. Like, I'm not going to change my value set. Like, I don't think many songs in the pop space are trying to say what I'm trying to say. And so when people show up and see that, and it's like, damn, like, this song is literally called Landmines and it's by Architects, and it literally talks about how I could just keep skipping through life, jumping over landmines, acting like everything is all right. And it's fucking not. It's okay to say that it's not. Not many people have that ability to be like, hey, show up on Wednesday or Thursday at the gym, and if you need someone, just come grab me. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are like, hey, like, how are your kids? Cool. All right, cool, man. So I think that the violence aspect that comes towards us, I expect that. I expect the anger. I expect the frustration. I expect the jealousy. I expect that. It doesn't change anything we're doing. Pay it no mind. And we just keep moving. Keep moving. And that's in anything too, right? Like, I don't think I listen to as much noise on the Greyscale side or the personal side or family side or anything like that. But it's like, you also just have to remember, this is not that fucking serious.
Yeah. And I think, well,
like, I treat it seriously, but it's like, if you actually think about, like, I'm not trying to take money out of your pocket. I'm not trying to take money out of your wallet. I'm not trying to shit talk you or your business, or I'm not trying to say I'm faster than you or you're faster. I don't give a shit, dude. Like, I genuinely don't give a shit.
I think that speaks volumes, because if there is, I mean, I'm sure you found ways to monetize comment, like, as
slowly,
like as you should.
Yeah.
But it's not required for people to show up. It doesn't cost them anything. And I think
100%.
that speaks volumes, because it shows that your intentions are the experience, and, you know, any sort of earnings financially are
it's a choice.
Yeah. Secondary things for you.
100%.
And I think the agenda is simple, and, you know, it's not driven by, like, you getting rich off comment. It's the people, and that's the main why that you have at the end of the day. And that really stands out. So,
and so it's interesting. So, like, I do want to cover, like, the, like, monetization aspect, right? So it's like, a lot of people, And I was talking to Tamara yesterday. She owns a coffee shop with Kim's, her husband, called Element by Bodega up in Ephrata. Super cool coffee shop. I was talking to her about it, and both of us kind of like deal with this moment where people message me and they're like, dude, this is so cool. It's your job. I'm like, the fuck did you say? Like, this is not my job. This is like the bonus job. That's like not me. You know, it's like for the first year, it cost me 20 grand to fucking do this thing. Like, I don't know what to say. Right. So I think it's interesting because all of these shit talkers or haters or angry people or whatever it is, like if I ask them to give $20,000 to a thing that had no intention of making it back, would they do that?
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. So then what happens is I knew that if I did that long enough, ironically, we're in an endurance sport per se. Like I knew that if I did that long enough, other shit would shake out to kind of then absorb some of that cost, right? Whether it's sponsorships or local stores or Red Bull coming in and basically being like, hey, like you don't have to worry about paying for Red Bull anymore. We'll ship you fucking cases. And like, by the way, like, is there an expense that we can take on? Like there's ways to do that, right? And so I do find it interesting because that next jump from like going from losing money to breaking even to making money is probably my biggest anxiety with Common, because I think that people like they want to support when it's gritty and when it's that. And I think they're going to be like there's a shift. There's a shift for like, oh, it's making money now. I think some people will be like, hey, good for you. Awesome. But at the same time, any money that's usually coming to my pocket is going right back into the thing for the next thing right now. Right. And so it's a fun moment for me where I think there's going to be a big transition now with Common, because Common goes from being a Thursday night run club to now it's a Thursday night run club that hosts actual races that had people from Colorado and Florida fly into for the last one standing. So we had like nationally people flying in for a race. That's awesome. What the fuck's gonna happen year 2, right? So we have that. Then now we have a hydration brand that technically I'm already in touch with people from Florida to New York about positioning it, right? So now we go like, oh wow, like that ethos on crack is my goal. So it's not going to change anything about me as a person. I'm just going to have more money to then rent out Long's Park, do whatever the fuck I want. And that's the fun part about it. Like it then turns into a moment where it's like, hey, I'm not worried about doing the thing illegally or this way or that way. It's like, hey, we'll play your rules. And it just allows us more impact, because in order to impact people, you have to have money. And I'm not getting it from anywhere else right now. So I have to find ways to kind of rub it together and figure out to continue the machine moving, because it needs money to move. There are like Topher's an employee. I pay Topher, right? Topher's not showing up out the goodness of his heart every single fucking week. Yes, he loves it. Yes, he's my friend. But at the same time, his entire livelihood is that, right? That's crazy to think about that. Like, I'm not saying it has like an economic impact, but like,
so he's full-time with Common?
No, that's his only thing.
Wow.
Like he's an independent contractor too. He's like us, but it's like right now his main contracted consistent client is Common.
Because I talked to him like a year ago, and he said that it was, I'm sure his responsibilities have grown since then. But
So basically, you know, when I first met Topher, he worked at another company that I worked at, and he was fired from that. And it was like days before the opening event that we had here at this office. It was like 3 days before he was fired. And I was like, all right, well, I'll bring you in just to do some photo and some like video stuff. And so I then was doing most of the video stuff up until May at the fridge myself, just like shooting. And then I was like, holy shit, we're at 150 people. Like, how am I going to like talk to people and shoot and do all this stuff? So then I kind of gave more to him. Topher was then employed by someone else for a while, did this on the side, left that position, and now he's just been Common since then.
Wow.
And so it's recap video and photos, dude.
He does a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of cool to like work on that. And then obviously there's a lot of stuff that I do involved with it too. Still, like with the merchandise launch, like I shot all that content, right? So it's like I dabble back in and I kind of grab certain things that I'm really passionate about or want to bring to life or whatever it is. And And I think that's kind of a fun moment just to talk about in terms of like building a brand and branding in general. Like, if I didn't have the space for me to over 6 years to build skills, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
It's all cumulative.
It's all cumulative.
Yeah.
It's all that compound interest. Like, I learned one thing today, one thing tomorrow, one thing the next week. And now I have like an arsenal full of tools that, you know, people yell at me all the time, but it's like driving here, I'm doing an Instagram post at red lights and was doing mobile Photoshop certain time. Like, it just is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's that mentality to build and become better rather than just bitch and complain and stay stagnant. And that's a choice. The same way that I also suck at making the choice of putting my family first all the time. Like, I know that, I own that. My wife knows that. Like, that's an argument that we have. And she's like, hey, like, you got 3 kids at home and me, and like everything else comes first before us. And I'm like, I need to be better at that.
Yeah.
Right?
That's tough.
Yeah. But I'm also trying to be there for 400 fucking people, or the messages that I get. So it's like, I'm trying to balance all these worlds. And that's when people are like, hey, like, take a day off. And I'm like, what happens then when that person needs, you know what I mean? So it's a lot. And moral of the story is I'm human too. Nothing's fucking perfect.
Yeah. I think
this shit's hard.
Yeah. That's, the fact that you feel a responsibility to the 400 people that attend, you know, is, I think speaks a lot to, you know, cause I was going to ask you about that, like how you, you know, prioritize your family and your agency and Common, and
it's near impossible.
Yeah. Cause you have responding to the messages, and then you said the majority of Topher's like income is because of you. And that's like a lot to have on your shoulders and stuff. So I think that sort of circles back to the first question I had, which is like, how do you accomplish all of this? But you said you don't feel like it's an ongoing journey. It's not necessarily like you've accomplished, but
correct.
It's that was sort of like the root of why I wanted to ask you that, because you're juggling a lot at once.
And so like, think about kids for a minute, right? And this, I mean, we're going in a totally different direction, but you know, I have so many people come up to me and they're like, hey, like, your kids are your legacy. The only thing you're leaving, like, you need to invest in your kids. Right. And it's so hard for me because there is no, like, at the end of the day, I'm completely wiped out, been up for hours, working super fucking aggressive hard all day long, come upstairs, my 2 boys are like crazy on each other, beating each other up, screaming, kicking, crying. My daughter's kind of like, what is happening? She's 8, you know, like, it's a lot of chaos. And there's one of these moments where I look around and I'm like, the amount of work I could do in 1 hour instead of watching this Mario movie, it's crazy. And it's so hard for me because, like, I'm not able to, in that moment, look at the massive 30,000 foot view. I'm looking at that 1 hour of like, I could prep 6 different posts. I could work on this thing. I can move this over here. By the way, that client owes me this email. Did I send that invoice today? Like, I'm in my brain the entire time, not actually be able to like be present. And I don't know if that's because of the wiring or if that's because of the like ADHD or whatever the fuck it is, but it's like, I struggle to just sit there with my family because I don't put the same value on that time with them as I do on work. And so that's something that I'm working through. And so like, I try to normalize myself a lot with people being like, oh, you have kids? And like, yeah, man, best thing that's ever happened in my life. I'm like, for sure. Like, it's hard though. Right. And they're like, yeah. And like, the more I can push people, because so many people in Lancaster is like, oh man, like, God bless me with these children. Like, it's literally the only thing I live for anymore. And I'm like, what? Like, I want my kids at 8 or 9 or 10 to come run with me at Common and be like, how fucking cool is this?
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's how I want to impact them. But not at their deficit of me being a piece of shit for the next 6 years. So I'm struggling with that right now on how to balance being there and present and in the moment, but responding to the messages, but being there for other people, but then remembering your name and fucking other person's name. So it's like, we're human.
So I suppose you're using the impact that you're having with your work you're using that to justify, you know, the example that you're setting for your kids.
Yeah.
So it's full circle, but simultaneously, that sacrifice that you're pouring into work is taking away from the time with your family. So that's an interesting thing to unpack.
Yeah. And I don't know a lot of people in that space. So I don't know I haven't watched a lot of episodes. I don't know what people talk about on here, but like, I just want to normalize that because I do know a lot of fathers that are grinding, built like Chris Conley with Thread, right? Like he has kids, Zach has kids. Like there's only so much you can do in a day. Mm-hmm. But then what happens is I think I'm a little sick and I don't have that off. Like I know Chris is a good dad. Like I know Chris will shut it off and go with his kids and his wife. Mm-hmm. I literally am on Saturdays going, I fucking hate this. I need to be doing other shit.
Yeah.
And that's bad. Like that's a bad space to be in. And that's not because I don't love my family. I love them, but like I can't moderate that internally. Mm-hmm. And so that's some therapy shit that I have to go through and figure that out where it's like, it actually all needs to be the North Star here, not here. Mm-hmm. You can't be willing to cut your head off and hurt all these people in order to build this thing that actually might be gone in 6 months. 2 months from now, I could just be like, I'm done with this. And then, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's a pretty honest moment for you right there, where it's like, I hope that someone watching is like, man, like I'm trying to build a business or I'm trying to build this thing. And like, it's at the expense of those I love, or the stress and the tension and the pressure from building all of this is taken out on those people because that's your safe place at home. Right. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, thank you for sharing that. I know that's like a vulnerable thing to share, but that's an unknown thing because, I'm single. I don't have any kids yet, but it's something I aspire to. And I consider myself, just like you, like I'm a workaholic. Like my brain does not turn off. I don't look at weekends any different than a Monday morning. It's kind of like weekends are, I'm getting a head start on the following week, or, I have deadlines I got to meet here. And, I think that has, even for my siblings or my parents, or like checking in with my grandmother, or just like the family that I do have, it's like I've tried to make that a priority despite my, the hustle mindset that I have. And I always wonder if I brought kids into this equation, I would seriously have to look myself in the mirror and make some big changes of like what my priorities are.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a matter of hiring people to do everything that I don't want to do, or buying my time back, or things like that. But I don't know, that's just like a chapter of my life that I'm not in yet, but I've thought about that, where I'm 25, I'm almost 26. Yeah. So like I'm just, in a different chapter, I suppose. But 100%. It's like, when I do get to that point, it's difficult for me to even visualize like what that'll be, but I think it's kind of a thing where it'll work itself out and eventually. But I think that's just a good lesson that like not everyone's human, not everybody has everything together. Like if someone might look at you and it's like you've got all this stuff going on, you found success in doing it, you have a family on top of it, and it's like someone might think, oh, you're a time management expert, or you have all your priorities in order perfectly, and there's nothing, to improve there. And I think it's refreshing for you to share that it's like, no, I am working on that, and it's real. So.
For sure. And it's one of those too, where it's like, every Thursday, like my wife stays home with the kids, right? So I can do that. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy to think about, like, she doesn't get that same person that those people get on Thursdays. Like that's crazy, because I come home exhausted, or I come home spent, right? And so it's like, not to say I'm performative at Common, but it's one of those where it's like those people, like I'm like I'm on, you know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, like I'm talking so highly of her, and I'm talking about how she's a fucking badass, and she's she's not a stay-at-home mom. She has a full-time job, and she doesn't need me. I often say that, or I'm like, listen, like we are not dependent of one another. She could completely self-sustain and do this thing alone. If I died tomorrow, like we come together to make a better, project or being. But at the end of the day, it's like I've outkicked my coverage in every way, where it's like she cooks and cleans and does all the things and makes the money too, and like there's all of that. But she is the support system that I have. And I come home and I'm like, ah! And she's like, no one else fucking sees this. It's just me, right? And so I don't think I give her enough credit publicly, at home, all of those different things, because not enough people realize that it's like there always is stress and pressure. I live in constant stress and pressure all times, whether it's payments or expenses or all, planning or whatever it is. And it's like, I just hope, and people are always like, you're going to burn the fuck out. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like I said, everything that's going out is coming right back in. I love this. I live for this. But they don't. So even though I'll keep going, I'll burn them out.
Right.
Which is the issue. Right.
Wow.
And so
having that awareness.
That's I'm in this moment right now where I'm like, keep coming. Like, we don't want to fucking keep going. Like we need to sit for a minute. And I'm like, get on my back. And they're like, no, So it's a humbling sort of thing to talk through a little bit just with you, because like you are, and I want to just like impose that upon you or impose that on someone else who's watching. Like I want to basically be like, hey, listen, like this is a real thing. It does happen. It's okay. I mean, Jeremy and I have had conversations where he's an extremely go-getter person too. And it's like, he has 7 kids. So it's like, and his wife, Allison, it's like those are living, breathing amoebas in a relationship that you have to communicate with people. Like, are you good? Are we good? Is everything good? No, you're not good. How do I pull back? How do I adjust? Like, how do I adapt? How do I pivot? Right. And I think you kind of get in that position where it's like everything else is important other than that time. And so my goal right now over the next X amount of time is, yes, common is important. Getting common in stores locally this week was very important to me. So it's there for people to try. And when I release the stock list and the run club and the trail rate, all the things, that's important. That's great. But if all of this shit falls apart, like I'm genuinely sitting back right now, like, I wonder if I took my foot off the pedal a tiny bit. I wonder. Or do I hire somebody? Or I do, you know what I mean? So I've made some of those things in like other business sections, like, oh, is there an accountant that can do my work so I don't have to do the damn taxes? Is there a person that can take care of the S Corp filing so I don't have to do the whole thing? Like, so you start putting those positions in to get those hours back. So I just want to normalize that, because I feel like a lot of people walk around and are like, kids are so fucking easy. God bless me with them. Everything is great. It's so great. My life is good. Everything. You're good. I'm good. We're good. I'm like, no, I'm not good. The wheels are falling off. So, So I just wanted to kind of just take a minute to explain that, like, we all have downfalls. We're all struggling with shit at some point, and that's okay.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And it's I think we can often put people on pedestals, I guess, is like the right way to say it, or, people that, we look up to, if it's like athletes or, people who
you're just assuming.
People who have found a lot of success. You just think that, because they're successful or whatever, that they don't have, they're not having trouble in their marriage or just going through, and you never know what, it kind of comes back to, like you said, it's people that come to Common they could have a smile on their face, but they could be hiding like some deep internal frustrations or things like that. And, maybe, someone passed away in their family, or they're going through a breakup, or they just got laid off their job, or I think there needs to be more, like, especially, I don't want to make this like a masculinity thing, anything like that. But for men in particular, it's the normalization of being vulnerable and talking about things with other people, even if it's at Common. And I know that vulnerability requires trust. So you're not just going to do that with like strangers or whatever, but
I think doing that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm literally sitting here right now just being like, hey, listen, like, this is what it is. I don't know who's going to watch this. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm like in divorce talks to my wife or anything. I'm just basically explaining, like, hey, like, this is hard. I look weak for saying that. Bummer. But at the same time, at least I can recognize that, because I'm killing shit all over the place. You know what I mean? So
people want to be a part of things that they can relate to.
Yeah.
If you sharing that can resonate with someone else, then it's like, okay, I can understand that. And that's like the beauty of the feeling that you're not alone. Like it's easy to feel alone of like if you're struggling with something or and I just think at the end of the day, community and like what you're doing with Common is it enables people to not feel like they're alone and that they're heard and that they're a part of something.
Yeah.
And that's like so foundational to mental health and then just the supplemental component of running and things like that. I think things like depression, it's a very complex issue. And, I wouldn't say that I've ever been like severely depressed. I mean, we all go through things, but it's like, I don't want to oversimplify things and just say, oh, like if you go to Common, you're going to, all that's going to be cured. It's going to go away.
No.
Like I by no means want to say that, but I think with that being said, it's a step in the right direction to just figure out ways that you can get involved with community and get outdoors and get physical exercise and all the things that enables. So it's like,
but it's also interesting where it's like me. So I love meeting people where they're at, right? Like I genuinely feel like, hey, if I'm going to take this first step and it's a moment of me giving you trust and then you can meet me and I'm giving you space to be whoever the fuck you are. Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a moment where I've found a lot recently is not many people, men, women, whatever the fuck it is, want to talk about like darkness per se, right? And I often laugh just because like I am fueled off of self-hate. That's a fueling thing I have. Why? I don't know. Maybe because I lost 85 pounds and I still think I'm overweight. Maybe I have body dysmorphia. Maybe I have I don't know. Is that depression? I don't know. Like I most days wake up and I'm like, fuck this. You know what I mean? So it's interesting because like I am this person, but that's not being fake. It's what happens is underneath the thing that's fueling the machine to move forward is all of that negative. So like when people are like, hey, are you a pessimist or an optimist? I'm like, bro, there ain't a fucking cup. I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, shit's over. You know what I mean? Like, and so not a lot of people like assimilate with that or understand that. Like, and I'm learning that there's a lot of people that after they peel off that onion with me on 2 or 3 conversations, they're like, holy shit, like he deals with that too. And you can harness that. You know what I mean? Like my wife wakes up and she's like, hey, it's not that serious. Like everything's good today. I'm like, it is not a good day. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Like I just feel that.
Yeah.
And I can't shift that. And she's like, we'll go get drugs for that. I'm like, I don't want to get drugs for that. Like, because I've done drugs for that years ago and it was just like a cardboard box. I feel like a fucking soggy wet towel.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It works for other people and maybe I try enough, whatever it is, right? But like, I'd rather feel the most aggressive, sad darkness and understand what that is. Now the same way I understand that there's moments that I need to focus on some other shit and like, whoa, about to fuck up. Like, so then I can harness that and move forward. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of, I want people to understand that when I say there are more of us than them, that can be like misconstrued in 50 other ways. That's a stick to your gun lyric. It's like, that could be the government, that could be police, that could be riots and other people, that could be religion. It could be whatever the fuck you want it to be, right? But I kind of look at that as people claiming to be their fine. There are more of us that are not willing to just go on with our lives, just showing up and saying we're good, than there are people who are. Right. And if you are fine, cool, you can still come to Common. I'm not saying this is some fucking like site, but at the same time, like it's all right to show up if you're dealing with some shit.
Yeah. Everyone's going to have negative thoughts or downward spirals or something like that. Sometimes it's not the worst thing because like you said, you can harness that energy and use it for good, whether it's you share your perspective, someone else can benefit from it and feel like they have, a support system or whatever, or you can just use that as fuel to improve. Earlier this year, it was like in the span of a month, my girlfriend like dumped me on Valentine's Day weekend. And then a week later, I lost one of my biggest clients. And I just felt all this like deep internal anger. I'm like, where do I take this, it's all like, I need to have this internal like peace. Like, what do I do with this frustration? It's like, oh, well, try to frame it as the best thing that ever happened to you, like to springboard you into the next thing. And do you resonate with that or a little bit?
Well, for sure. Like in those moments, usually you try to reach for things you physically can control.
Yeah.
Like I can only control this, so I'm going to focus on this and obsess like over this, right? So like when I went through my divorce prior, I'm divorced, like I focused on what I was putting in my mouth, right? Like I focused on tracking my macros and going to the gym twice a day because I didn't want to go to the bar after work, whatever it is. And like I just like locked into that and was just like, can't get drunk and do bad shit or do drugs or whatever it is if I'm going to the gym after work and then go home and eat chicken and shut the fuck up and go to bed, right? Like there's not much bad that can happen if I stay focused, right? Yeah. So I think there's a moment too of just reminding yourself that like this too shall pass. Yeah. Like I love that saying so much, like, hey, like whatever this phase is, it's a phase.
All things must pass.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And like you will get to the next phase. And so like this one may suck. The next one might be a little bit worse, but the next one might be good. Like there's no way of knowing. So like there is no permanent moment in anything. And so, you know, one of the things my dad always says, like, you know, never get too high, never get too low. And I've always just kind of resonated with that where he's like, hey, listen, like, when shit's going really good, something's going to knock you the fuck off.
Yeah.
Expect it. So just never get too high. And then when shit's really, really, really down, like know that there is no answer for that permanent, you know, there is no reason to make a finite decision in that moment. Like you will at some point head in the other direction. Yeah. There is it will pass.
It's just about having that hope.
Yeah.
That it will.
Yeah. Or just belief. I don't even like hope because hope is a tricky word for me sometimes just because it's like, you know, hope is like higher power based. Hope is like this thing that you're grabbing onto. I just look at it like I have to believe that this will pass. This is like, I'm going to just sit here for a moment and be like it's proven that this shit will change. It's not a matter of like, I hope it does, because hope doesn't always work out, as we all know.
The universe will level out at some point.
Yeah. Like, you know, and because, you know, hope is often used a lot with like, you know, faith or praying or sicknesses that we have no control over. Right. And that's where I'm like, no, this is not a hoping it gets better. This is like, I know this shit will get better. And that's not a matter of being pessimistic or optimistic. I just know because I've done it 5,000 other times. Like the same way that if you're on a long run, this shit will end at some point. There is the other side. This just sucks right now, but there's that, you know? So I think just like trusting in that moment and believing that to be true is better. Like I'm not on a run. Like I hope this ends. I'm like, bro, it's there. Get there.
Yeah. And I think it's about just kind of not having like an anger at the world, I guess. Yeah. Just like kind of, I like to think that just the world is what it is. Like it's not for you or against you, even though at sometimes it's like literally everything is stacked against me and everything's falling. Yeah. And it's like, no, it's just kind of, there have been other parts of your life that you take for granted that you've been lucky. Yeah. So it's like everything kind of levels out. And if you think about it that way, then it kind of takes away the resentment that you have towards like whether it's you know, just circumstances that might not be as favorable that you don't have control over, but it's like you keep pressing forward and you have good intentions and like good work ethic or like the fundamental things. It'll pass into the next thing, and you just have to the belief and the trust and the things that you can like internally control, I suppose, like with your mindset.
Well, it's like I said, it's just proven. Like your situation, your girlfriend broke up with you. Did she break up with you 3 more times after that? No. It happened.
Yeah.
It started to then work the other way. You know what I mean? So like, yes, you know, you got broken up with, you lost your client, man, you know, you got the flu, and then, you know, you had a flat tire. I hear you. Like, but at the same time, that's not just going to go, now my car got totaled by a tree and then my dog died and then my cat died. Like, yes, as long, it can continue that a long time, but at some point it's going to rebound.
And all of those things build your character.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about life is cumulative. Like those, like now you have a basis of things and you learn lessons. And that is like the beauty of life. And I mean, like I don't want to act like I'm like an 80-year-old projecting wisdom here because I'm like in my 20s. But that's the thing, like as you grow and you like mature, that I've realized is like that's the beautiful thing about life is, with aging and growing and maturing, you aren't who you are without everything that you've been through.
For sure.
And if you have courage to put yourself out there and do things and fail, then the failure is where I know it's like, it's such a cliche thing to say. It's like the failure is where the growth comes from. But like, if you're not experiencing discomfort or failure, then you're not moving. You're just staying in the same spot and you're just being stagnant. So it's honestly like, I take signs, like if I go for a run and I'm like sore the next day, I'm like, good. Or if I did a workout or whatever, like I haven't lifted weights since I was in college, which was like 8 years ago. And I did it again and I'm like, man, like my muscles are burning or whatever. I'm like, well, good.
Yeah.
Because it's a sign that I'm moving forward. I'm doing something. So it's like, I think everything happens for a reason and everything has a purpose at the end of the day, if you like try to look for it. So
I agree. And I just, like I said, I want people to understand that they can show up and be themselves and wherever it is, work, relationships, friendships, like those 1 second moment, like there's like 1 second of courage, like can change your life. Like that truly can change your life, whether that's a hard conversation with a friend, whether that's a pitch to a fucking client, whether that's your relationship, like, those sort of like uncomfortable moments and uncomfortable conversations are when like and I think people avoid that a lot. Like so many people avoid that shit.
Yeah.
So, just kind of full circling everything. It's just be unapologetically, authentically who you are. There are other people that are like you, just too afraid to do it too.
I love that.
More of us than them.
Let's end it there. Well, Curran, I just want to like personally just thank you for starting Common and just everything that you do for the community. Because like I can honestly say like it's had a profound impact on me. Like I've lived in Lancaster for the past 4 years and I didn't really start, meeting new people until I went to Common, which was like 2 or 3 years in to me being here. And the doors that it's opened for, to the things that I can draw back to like, oh, I met them at Common and the things like that. So it's like, it's had an impact on me and I'm sure all the messages you get on other people. And, thank you for like your strength and, putting up with all the
craziness.
The craziness. And for like your vulnerability and, your insights and your time today. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you? If there's like a link that you want to direct people to or like the best place for people to follow you.
Super easy. So all my personal socials are just Curran Blevins, Curran Blevins. Company is Greyscale, but it's by Greyscale. So BYGreyscale. So by Greyscale, and then commonltd.com.
Awesome. I'll put all the links in the show notes, but I just ask anyway. So
love it.
Thanks again.
Hell yeah.